Hello, everyone, and welcome to this welcome and introduction video in preparation for block party number 104, which will be starting Friday morning, April 8th, 2022 at 7 a.m. Pacific time, going for a full 24 hours. We're going to be talking about a lot of topics, as you can see in the agenda, in the email that I send out every Thursday night, and everyone's welcome to receive that. So if you're not on it, let me know, and I'll get you on there. There's one of the major themes of block party number 104 is the press conference and the tour that press conference is going to kick off, and all the conversations that all of that is going to kick off. And so we'll be getting into some of the details on that on this recording. The first is to say that our Food Healers segment in the morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time will include Dr. Silas Rao for an hour and a half of that time from 7:30 to 9. We're also going to have other special guests who are coming just for this segment, and it's going to be a really awesome conversation because we're going to be talking about, again, the press conference and the tour that will kick off, and all the conversations that will kick off. So let me give kind of a brief overview of all that. Up until several days ago, the focus was going to be on SRM. The focus of the most important press conference on earth was going to be on SRM. That was it. And, talking about the problem of exponential global warming, the solutions of SRM, the different kinds of solar radiation management solutions, and how do we get this all implemented, including how do we get humanity to properly focus and dive into all this. Just in this past week, we've expanded the focus for very good reason to include the following, which I'll just chunk out in 3 parts. And Michael, Marco, James, please jump in with your thoughts on this too, because this is all information, and we're going to be forming it as well tomorrow morning during the block party. So here's kind of the high level summary as I see it. And again, feel free to add to this, change it, whatever, it's all good. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Part 1, the truth. The truth about the problems, not just global warming, but destruction of the biosphere, nuclear war, pandemics, etc. Now, a lot of the truth that we're going to be focusing on here will be precisely about global warming and the destruction of the biosphere, but we're not limiting it in any way. It's the truth of our problems. So that's part 1. Part 2 is focused on solutions. And this is also a truth-telling portion, because we're telling the truth about myriad solutions that exist as potentials, as possibilities, but which we, humanity, have not gotten it together to implement. 2 of these notable solutions are solar radiation management and food healers. But they're by no means limited to those 2. No, we're opening it up to all kinds of solutions. Everything is on the table at this point. And then part 3 is really focusing on humanity, the problems of humanity. We are the problem child species of the planet. Look at all that we've caused in terms of destruction. Sure, we've gone to the moon and back, and we've accomplished a lot of technological feats, but at what cost? We're destroying all of life on Earth, including humanity, right? So, we're going to be focusing on the problems of humanity and also the solutions of how do we reorient humanity, help humanity escape from the omnicidal game that we're all trapped in to various degrees, of individual hoarding, what we call the all-day monopoly game. Individual hoarding, maximizing individual hoarding without regard to other people or the planet. And this is what's destroying humanity and all of life on Earth. That's kind of at the root. And there's other roots to it. And we need to explore all of that and then co-create a new game. If not the all-day monopoly game, what game? How about, being the caretaker species, or Homo ahimsa, as Dr. Silas Rao calls it? How do we co-create this new game, and how do we make a transition to the new game? we believe that the keys to all of the above parts 1, 2, and 3, problems, solutions, and the transformation of humanity, is conversation, us coming together and having these conversations, talking about it, exposing the truth, talking about solutions, talking about the traps that humanity has fallen into and how do we get out of those and co-create a whole new game, a whole new path for humanity to embark upon. And with that, I pass the talking feather, but first I invite you, all of you, to join us, join the conversation. And what we're going to be talking about in the next few minutes is kind of a sample of that, of the kind of flow that we get into in the Block Party, which is absolutely magical, and it's changed all of our lives, and it will change your life too if you let it. With that, I pass the feather. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we've been here now in the Block Party. Now we were just starting to, which is a good thing. We were starting to lose track of which number it was tomorrow. 104 Block Party 104, and that's a good thing. But and for a long time, it can just people come and people go. Everybody's welcome. Nobody's under any obligation to stay or commit to anything other than to just join the conversation, obviously. Like. But in saying that, yeah, it's been over near 2 years now, and a long time. At times it was frustrating because it seems like we're banging our heads against the wall sometimes, and I've witnessed that for years now as well, looking at the different scientists and everything else that have been, coming out and telling us what's going on with the global warming issue and everything else, and they're banging their heads against the wall too. COP26 was a perfect example of that. But the reason why we're broadening our focus really is because we all have to broaden our focus, and we only kind of came to that realization even after 2 years of Block Party. We've been discussing a lot and focused on the issue and the problems and what's coming down the line and everything else. But we've become so, I suppose, what would be the best way to say? We've become so familiar with the topic that we along the way we forgot how how hard it was for ourselves initially to actually take all of this in, the truth of all of this, and the implications of that. And that's not a lot. That's not something. It's a lot to take in, and it's not something easy to actually swallow and assimilate. Like so, that was more or less our realization as well. I think in the last weeks or two, like was that yes, it's urgent that we do something about it, but it's also important that we realize that for a lot of people, they don't know the full truth of the situation or the implications of that, and for them, it's going to take a little time to assimilate that information as well. And nobody's asking anyone to do anything out of the way other than that we have to accept the truth of what is, and then once we come to terms with that and help each other to come to terms with that, because it's not something that's easy to come to terms with, to be truthful, but at the same time we have no other choice but to do that and then face it by having the conversations. And it's time now, like it's time now to do that. It's now or never the time to do that. So you know all I say is it is time now to join the conversation. We've been here 104 weeks asking people to come join the conversation. And yes, lots of people will come and join, and lots of people are still with us, and some come and go, and they come back again. It's great, it's all great, because it's all got us right here now to this point, at this moment. And we are at a very poignant point and moment in history and in our lives, and people now need to sit back and think about that. Our history, our lives, our future. So I'll leave it at that, passing the up.
Yeah, awesome, James. Thank you. Yeah, this 104th block party that we're heading into here Friday is that's a pretty amazing number on its own. And that's just the evolution of our collective intelligence block party. Most of us here have been involved in some form of activism for the environment, for saving, doing the right things for Mother Earth, saving species of various kinds. And now it's saving all life on Earth is where we're at, because all life on Earth is at risk right now from exponential global overheating. You can call it climate change, you can call it whatever you want. And yes, the climate is changing, but it's not changing in a way that's going to come back to like some kind of normal or anything like that. It's only changing for the worse right now. And sometimes it seems a little like, oh, don't worry, it's changing, but it's the real problem we have is constantly getting warmer, and that's being ramped up very much right now. And that's just part of what we have to look at is the problem. The other part are solutions, and it's not all bad news. It's not all doom and gloom and hey, we're in the midst of the 6th mass extinction. Yep, that's true, but there's a myriad number of solutions out there, and we've been focused very much on solar radiation management here. But we realized in the last week or so that we've concentrated on this, and we've known about this. We've been working on this like minimum 104 block parties, collective intelligence block parties, and all the time and meetings we have in between those Friday meetings for 2 years and much longer, many of us. So we've developed, a keen sense of what we think needs to be done, but realizing that not everybody's at that level, we invite you to the conversation to get what information you need. This isn't, we're not going to, we're going to tell you the truth of, in the last 2 weeks, Antarctica has been above its normal temperature by between 50 and 90 degrees. A section of the Conger ice shelf fell off into the ocean the size of Rome. This is just in recent weeks. And that's wild. The Arctic sea ice, for the first time in human history, will likely be gone by September of this year. And if that doesn't mean anything specific to you right now, come join the conversation. We'll fill you in. And not just the tidbits that the news uses to drag you in and give you just this little tiny portion of crazy excitement about what's going on. The whole report straight from the scientists that are doing this cutting edge research that's showing how we're growing ever closer to not surviving unless we implement some of the solutions that we're aware of here. And maybe you're part of a group out there that has even a better solution than we do. And we urgently invite you to bring that. And that's what this is about. This is about all the problems, all the solutions, and having a discussion about them towards the betterment of all of us. And that's what we invite you to. So come as much time as you have. There's 24 hours happening. Starts with 2 hours of food healers. Food is a base, healthy, nutritious, plant-based food is a human right. Second 2 hours, solar radiation management. And any aspect of global warming you want to throw in there, problem, solution, your thoughts, your questions. And it goes on for 24 hours. After that, we can have a couple other things scheduled, but much time in between to go whatever direction we need to go and that you want to go. So come be part of the conversation. With that, I pass the talking ladle.
Beautiful. And I will just add a little thing about part 3, as I was talking about, part 1 being problems, part 2 solutions, part 3 humanity, the transformation of humanity. Being a part of this process for the previous 103 block parties and all the other meetings that we have in between, and all the meetings we've all participated in prior to the block party starting in early 2020, all of these conversations have transformed us. We are different because of these conversations. It will transform you too, if you let it, in really beautiful ways. And the transformation comes from recognizing that we're part of something much, much bigger than just ourselves. Again, the game that we were born into and trapped within, like, a crack baby born addicted to crack. We were born trapped and addicted to hyper-individuality and hoarding. And well, not born into it, but conditioned into it very quickly. As we went through the stages of childhood, adolescence, etc. And recognizing that we're not alone. We're part of this beautiful community of humanity that can talk with each other, that people from all around the world can come and meet and talk and share and commune. And so for me, the collective of collective intelligence of the block party is kind of like an on-ramp to this utopia that is our birthright, which is humanity working together as one united species, caring for all of life on Earth, stopping the destruction of life on Earth, reversing that destruction, and caring for all of life on Earth, each other and all life. And it is absolutely possible. And if you want to experience that, there's no better place that I know of than the block party. So please join us. We'd love to see you here. Passing the speaking ladle.
I would mention that these are always certified compassionate conversations. So feel free to be there and not be judged. So welcome all. I really enjoy being there, and I'm very enthusiastic and interested in all the developments happening. Thank you.
Beautiful indeed. These are compassionate conversations. This is a safe space. No one is ever put on the spot, and no forms of unkindness or meanness or disrespect are tolerated. And it's just the most beautiful, gentle space and experience. So, and everyone is welcome. So please feel free to forward the invitation. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd second that anyway. It's a good place to make friends, and it's the only game in town at this stage anyway. So get in the conversation, and God bless.
Beautiful indeed. It is the only game in town, the game of humanity coming together in conversation, looking at the truth of our problems, the truth of solutions, such as they may be, and the truth that humanity has been trapped in the wrong game, and that we can change the game through precisely this process. Passing the speaking ladle.
Yeah, I think that pretty much says it all. Just come be part of the conversation. You'll find the link in the information below, I believe, this recording.
Indeed. And with that, it looks like we're complete. Thank you all for being here and being a part of it. And thank you for considering joining the conversation, and just give it a try. You'll love it. You can turn your camera off. You can just hang out. There's no pressure to speak or anything of the sort. All right. Thank you all so much. See you here.
Good night and God bless.
God bless. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you.